Have you ever wondered why some people walk into your life and suddenly your heart catches fire as if they were born to walk with you, all the way to the end, and others, no matter how hard they try, still don't get you, still get left behind, lost somewhere inside the fire you carry? If you're an Aries, a soul born from flame, from motion, from the deep hunger to live and to love all the way, then you know this truth by heart. Not everyone can handle heat. Not everyone can step into your life, look you in the eye, and not get burned by the power inside you. But then, there are a few, a rare kind of person. They don't run from your fire, they don't try to dim it, because they were born to burn with you. And today, we begin a journey through 5 of those signs. 5 kinds of souls who can love you, understand you, grow beside you. Not by fighting your flame, but by rising with it. Leo, when 2 kings don't compete, but rise together, there's something beautiful about the universe. Something not everyone notices. That light always finds its way to more light. And fire, it doesn't just burn things down. Sometimes it illuminates. Sometimes it brings things back to life. When 2 blazing souls cross paths, the world opens wider, time slows, and all that's left is one deep, aching question. Will we dare to burn together? Aries, in all your wild adventures, from the proud, glorious solitude you know so well, to those reckless, all-in kinds of love, there's always one kind of person that makes you stop. Someone who doesn't calm your fire, but awakens your desire to understand, to walk beside, not just run ahead, to feel, not just conquer. And sometimes they don't come to put your fire out. They come to help you light the sky. That person is often a Leo. Not everyone can walk through flames and still hold their head high, but Leo can. They're born from the sun. They don't need to try to shine. They just do. They don't flinch beneath your gaze, Aries, because they've stood in front of their own reflection and learned how to look themselves in the eye. Between Aries and Leo, there is rarely a quiet beginning, but there is always a pull, like 2 souls recognizing each other from a life long gone. You arrive like a storm, raw, loud, unfiltered, and Leo doesn't flinch, they receive it. You speak with fire, they listen in silence. You get angry, they frown. Then smile, you walk away, they stay. Watching, not begging, not blaming, just waiting for you to return on your own terms. Love between Aries and Leo feels like 2 kingdoms meeting. One ruled by Mars, fierce, impulsive, unyielding. The other a child of the sun, radiant, confident, generous like the noon sky. If neither is ready, they'll fight, with words, with silence, with pride. But if both have walked far enough, if they carry scars deep enough to tell what's real from what's fleeting, they begin to understand. Not every battle means war, and not every strong heart needs someone weaker to protect. They'll look into each other's eyes and know, this is not a rival, this is the one I want beside me. At the highest peak, you, Aries, who has always craved to be seen, will be seen, not for what you achieve, but for who you truly are underneath it all. With Leo, you don't need to shrink, you don't need to hide, you can laugh loud, speak big, love deep, and they won't run. They'll stand there right beside you like a mirror, one that reflects, honors, and lights you up. And when both of you stop competing for the light and start sharing it, a new kingdom is born. Not one with crowns or thrones or followers, just 2 brave souls, loving each other through fire, seeing each other through light. So if you're an Aries who lost a Leo, ask yourself, were you ready then to love with maturity? And if you're lucky enough to have a Leo by your side now, know this: the universe gave you something rare. A soul that won't back down from fire, a heart that doesn't shake in the face of truth. Sometimes love doesn't come to soften us. It comes to teach us how to shine, at the right time, with the right person. And some people, when they walk into your life, they don't ask, "Are you okay?" They just take your hand and say, "Let's go, let's burn," like it's worth it. And now, as we continue this journey in search of those who can hold your fire, we'll meet a kind of connection that may not spark instantly, but when it does, when it finally gets close enough, you'll realize, behind that quiet softness, is someone who's been holding your broken pieces even before you knew you were falling apart. We'll find them in the next layer of this story. Libra opposites that find harmony. Some connections make your heart race from the very first moment. And then there are others, soft as a breeze, so light you barely notice them arrive, yet strong enough to reach the deepest parts of your soul, the ones even you forgot how to enter. Libra walks into Aries' life just like that. No drama, no flames roaring, just presence. A calm gaze that doesn't look away, a voice that never rushes, and a silence deep enough to make you, the ever-rushing Aries, finally pause. Libra is nothing like you. They don't act on impulse. They don't charge ahead just to chase a passing emotion. They never need to shout to be heard. They exist in their own way, gentle like smoke, delicate like an instrumental song with no words. And somehow that awakens something strange in you, the longing to be understood, to be touched, not with hands but with heart, to be listened to all the way through. You Aries are action, you are fire. Libra is air, thought, reflection, the quiet art of balance. You live in the moment while they ask, what is fair? What is right for both? You walk into a room and hit life like a wave. Libra enters the same space and makes it breathable. Around Libra, you don't have to raise your voice to be seen. You don't have to perform. Just be you, messy, bold, occasionally short-tempered, and still they stay. No reactions, no walking away, just silent, understanding, and then something magical happens. You who have pushed people away out of fear of being hurt begin to open, not because Libra forces their way in, but because they never asked you to. They don't fight for a place in your heart. They simply become a shoulder that never demands explanation, an open arm that never pulls. The difference between you isn't a wall. It's a new rhythm, a breath you didn't know you needed. You teach Libra how to act like the world needs them now. Libra teaches you patience, that love doesn't always mean chasing or winning. And one day on a quiet afternoon, you'll realize something. You're no longer searching for chaos. You begin to see beauty in the calm. You realize some relationships don't drive you wild. They steady you. And that isn't boring. In love, Libra and Aries feel like a duet between Mars and Venus. Passion without pressure, desire without possession. Fire and air, one ignites, the other keeps it alive. Two heartbeats out of sync, yet finding a shared rhythm. In a space where no one has to win, and no one needs to fall behind. And if someday life gets too loud and your heart too tired, remember that gentle gaze. The one that never promised anything but stayed, like a scale that never tips too far, quietly balancing you every time you start to break under your own fire. Dear Aries, sometimes the one who keeps your flame alive isn't the one who adds more fire, but the one who teaches you how not to burn yourself down. And once you've learned to be calm in your own storm, you'll finally feel ready to open your heart again. Not because you need someone to fill the space, but because you want someone to fly with. Some souls don't arrive to fix you. They come to whisper, be fully yourself but soften, so we can still hear each other. And just like that, in the search for someone who can hold the rhythm of your heart, you might stumble upon a playful glance, a burst of laughter in the middle of a storm, a conversation with no start, no end, that somehow makes you laugh right as you're about to fall apart. And in that moment, a strange, beautiful connection begins. Gemini, the game of WIT and desire. Some people crash into your life like a thunderstorm. And then there are those who quietly open your heart with a clever joke, a playful wink, a flash of brilliance that makes you laugh and pause. Gemini is like that. They don't show up to change you. They don't promise to stay. They just arrive like a cool breeze on a hot day, bringing strange ideas, stories no one's told before, and a look in their eyes that makes you, even in the middle of your chase, slow down, just enough to listen. Aries, you're fire. You burn through everything you touch with passion, with willpower, with a hunger to live and love with everything you've got. But with Gemini, you don't want to win. You just want to understand, because they always surprise you. A mind that teases you with clever lines. A voice that flips a whole conversation with one wild idea. And above all, they're not afraid of your fire. In fact, they provoke it, like a game, like a dance, like a challenge too tempting to walk away from. Between Aries and Gemini, there are no rules, only rhythm. The rhythm of conversations that seem random but stir something deep. The rhythm of spontaneous hugs between bursts of laughter. The rhythm of freedom, where no one holds, no one traps, and no one plays a role they don't want. Aries, you love the way Gemini sees the world, multidimensional, curious, always changing. And Gemini, they're drawn to your raw, fearless energy, something rare, something real. You make them want to act. They make you want to see life as a melody, not a race. Gemini makes you laugh even when you don't want to. They help you relax even when you've learned to always be on guard. And somehow they make you feel lighter. Not because the love is shallow, but because it doesn't come with the weight of expectation. The love between Aries and Gemini isn't a wildfire. It's a spark, bright, mobile, electric, dancing in the dark. A connection that feels playful and real. Something you can't quite explain, but you'll never forget. In intimacy, this is never a boring relationship. Never scripted. Never the same. Each meeting feels like a brand new play. Each touch a different kind of adventure. Gemini is the one who dares to look you in the eye and say, "Let's go the other way today, not because it's right, but because we haven't tried." And you, even skeptical, still smile and follow, because something deep inside you trusts them. Dear Aries, sometimes what you need isn't someone who runs faster than you. It's someone who can run with you and turn the whole path into a story that makes you laugh out loud along the way. Someone who doesn't flinch at your intense nature but looks it straight in the eye and says, "Awesome, but it'd be even better with just a little more crazy." And suddenly, you go further but softer. Not because you're less passionate, but because now you're lit not only by fire but by wit, by freedom, and by laughter. And then there comes a time when you look back and realize some relationships don't teach you how to fly. They teach you how to be still. Not to spark adrenaline, but to surprise you with the feeling of being held. A connection that doesn't always come from touch, but from the things left unsaid. And when that moment arrives, you'll know you've stepped into a new space where your fire, though still burning, finally learns to warm instead of consume. Capricorn, when fire melts, ICE, some souls don't enter your life like fire. They enter like stillness, not because they're cold, but because they've learned how to stay quiet in a world that never stops shouting. Not because they don't care, but because they love in a language you may not be fluent in. Capricorn is one of those souls. They arrive without noise, not with seductive eyes or charming words, but with a quiet presence that somehow carries weight, as if they know exactly who they are. And you'll need time to figure out why you're drawn in so deeply. Aries, you are action, you live for today. Capricorn quietly lays bricks for tomorrow, your fireworks bright, impulsive, alive. They are the stone pillars, steady, grounded, unmoved by chaos. But what keeps your eyes on them isn't that they're your opposite. It's that they don't chase you. Capricorn stays patiently, still, and somehow that makes you ask yourself what actually makes you feel safe. They don't rush to love you, they observe. And you, used to the world saying yes too quickly, feel genuinely curious about someone who doesn't fall so easily. You try, you push, you test the limits, but Capricorn doesn't flinch. Not until you get honest. They don't love the part of you that burns the brightest. They wait for the silence. When you're tired, when you stop, when you drop the armor you wear so well, that's when they come closer. Not to fix you, not to demand anything, but to let you feel you are worthy of more than just fireworks. Capricorn teaches you what it means to build something with someone, not just chase passion, but create foundation. They won't clap loudly for every victory, but they'll quietly clear the stones from your path. You're intense. They're calm. You want to break through. They want to hold steady. At first, you'll think they are too dry, too serious, too cold. But the closer you get, the more you see they love deeply. Not with flowers, but with action. Not with pretty words, but with presence, stubborn, constant, even when you're not easy to stay with. And then you and Aries, who never wanted to be controlled, start to want something different. Not because they forced you to change, but because you want to. For the first time, love doesn't feel like something to win or something to shine for. It feels like something that helps you grow without losing yourself. Capricorn won't promise to stay forever, but they will show up quietly every day. And you, someone who once feared repetition, will realize that repeated peace is a kind of miracle. Dear Aries, sometimes what melts the ice isn't the fire that scorches, but the warmth that waits. A person who doesn't run with you but knows how to wait for you to come home. A person who doesn't light you up but makes you want to stay lit longer. And then, at some wild, unexpected moment, after everything you've been through, you'll meet someone who doesn't come to teach you how to love, but to break boundaries with you. Not someone grounded, not someone calm, but wild, free, and full of light. A soul who reminds you why you once fell in love with the sky, not because it had order, but because it had no edges. And that soul will meet in the next moment. Sagittarius, a love that's wild and free. Some souls don't come into your life to teach you how to love. They come to remind you why you love the world in the first place. No one's trying to hold on. No one needs to control. And yet when you walk beside each other, everything feels right. Naturally. Wildly. So real it doesn't need to be explained. Sagittarius arrives like a breeze from the edge of the horizon, a place you've never touched, but have always dreamed of reaching. They are the traveler of the cosmos, carrying questions, light, laughter, and the courage of a heart that never stops searching for truth. And you, Aries, you're the first to look at them not with admiration but with a strange kind of recognition, because neither of you was born to stand still. Between Aries and Sagittarius there are no chains, only companionship, a kind of instinctive side-by-side rhythm where both keep looking forward and somehow always move in step. You light the fire, Sagittarius brings the wind to make it fly farther. You live for the moment, they live for the journey. You are the warrior, they are the wanderer, and when the two of you meet, the world turns into an open map. Every footprint becomes a story, every kiss a beginning. Aries, you've never needed anyone to feel complete, but when you walk beside Sagittarius, you realize some people don't shrink you, they set you more free. They don't try to change you, but watching them be free makes you want to learn how to fly without fear of falling. This love doesn't teach you how to possess. It teaches you how to trust, that someone can return not because they were held back but because they chose to stay. Sagittarius loves you because you dare to live, to love, to burn. And you love them because they help you see beyond yourself. Through the spontaneous plans, the reckless flights, the backpacks packed without a return date, you still find each other. Not at the destination, but along the way. Not in promises, but in the eyes that say, keep going. We'll meet again somewhere between freedom and truth. In quiet nights in the desert or in a city neither of you calls home, Sagittarius will ask you something that makes you look inward. Not because they doubt you, but because they believe you're wise enough to answer yourself. They don't hold you down, they just make you want to stay. The love between you two isn't tied to one place. It shifts, it transforms, it's alive just like the two of you. Vibrant, expansive, never forced. And when you fall without drama, without grand words, Sagittarius simply reaches for your hand, pulls you up and keeps running with you. Not because they have to, but because that's how they love, quietly, fiercely, all the way down to the soul. Dear Aries, some loves don't make you feel safe. They make you feel alive, not because they accept every side of you, but because they're brave enough to stand in front of it with an open heart. No shields. And maybe, after all the loud loves, the dramatic ones, you'll realize what you need isn't an anchor, but a sky you can look up to and know someone out there is looking up too. Because in the end, no matter how far you go, how high you climb, what you'll remember isn't the destination. It's the ones who walked with you, step by step. The ones who didn't cling, who didn't run, who didn't limit you. They just looked at you and smiled, keep going. And if someday we cross paths again, we'll tell each other all the incredible things that happened when we stopped being afraid of losing each other. And now, a final message just for Aries. You know something. Not everyone can handle your fire. Not everyone can stand in the light you shine without stepping back. But some souls written into your story long before you even knew who you were, they were born to burn with you, not to run from you. They didn't come to put your fire out. They came to help you keep it burning. Each one of them, whether it's the radiant Leo, the balanced Libra, the playful Gemini, the grounded Capricorn, or the wild Sagittarius, they all brought a gift meant only for you. A lesson, a scar, a healing, a doorway inside your heart, one you thought you already knew by heart until someone opened it. Aries, you were never made to love halfway. You love like today's the last day. You live like time is always slipping. And you walk into every connection with an unguarded heart wide open. That's why, when love isn't deep enough, you feel it. When someone doesn't truly see you, you feel the silence echo in places no one else can reach. But when you meet the right one, someone who dares to stand beside you when you blaze and also holds your hand when you fall quiet, you realize something powerful. You don't have to shrink for someone to love you. You just have to love the right one. Someone who isn't afraid of your light. Love for you has never been easy. It's a battlefield, a dance, a prayer. It's broken you, but it's also built you. And if you've ever loved the wrong way, if you've ever lost faith, if you've ever felt lost, then tonight, please believe this. You deserve a love that makes you feel whole. Not because you've learned to dim your fire, but because you no longer have to fight just to be yourself. And remember, what we've shared here today is only a small part of your map. The universe still holds so many secrets for you to uncover. The moon, where you hide the pain you can't speak. Venus, how you love and how you long to be loved. Mars, the fire that wakes you every morning. And the ascendant, the face the world sees when they meet your soul. They're all whispering, just waiting for you to listen. Thank you for staying till the very end of this journey. Thank you, you brave, beautiful Aries, for never stopping, never settling, never forgetting how to return home to yourself. No matter how many layers still wait ahead, keep walking, because every step you take is warming this world in ways you'll never fully see. And if you can, come meet me again in the next chapter, where we'll open new doors within your own spirit, deeper layers, more light, more truth, where you're not just a zodiac sign, but a soul learning how to become the flame that leads the way. I'll see you again, Firekeeper, in the journey that comes next.